The boy finished very, very early, like 12 or 13 minutes. I was like, oh, I have another 12 or 13 minutes to fill. Hello, Teacher Stephanie here, and today was my second day working for VIPKID. I taught my 3rd and 4th classes, and today I taught a unit assessment. So I wanted to just give some tips on the unit assessment, tell you how my first one went, and just give you some suggestions on, what to do if the kid finishes early, which mine did, and things like that. Now I happen to be in my classroom. I have this scarf here because I have another business, and sometimes anyway, the classroom is behind this scarf. I don't want everything to shift and fall. Sometimes I'll see a client with my other business in here in my classroom because this is actually my walk-in closet. So if my kids are running around, I have 2 boys, I can close my closet door, I can close my bedroom door, and it's pretty soundproof in here. But I normally see my clients in my main office with, a desk behind me and stuff like that. But anyway, I have this set up in case I decide to see my client here today. So the unit assessment that I did today was the boy finished very, very early, like 12 or 13 minutes. Like, he was so fast, and I was actually even extending and doing a little correcting along the way. So of course it was my first one, so I'm not, I'm not very skilled yet on pacing. I usually do go over, and this is the first time I didn't go over by a minute or 2, and we were way under. He finished in like 12, 13 minutes, and I was like, oh, I have another 12 or 13 minutes to fill, but it worked out good. But anyway, I'm going to give you some suggestions on doing a unit assessment. You still do use props and use TPR. So, there were times that I was, doing the clapper, great job. When we were on level 5, I held this up and we counted to 5 because we were on level 5. You still give stars. So I held this up, and then I also gave a star in the classroom. I did a reward. You don't have to, because there's actually a built-in reward in the assessments. Today I gave these little trophies, and I put them on the shelf back here. Of course, this wasn't here, and it actually ended up being a nice time filler because then we counted the trophies and things like that. You will do some correction when there's time, but you'll mostly be evaluating. So there is a form you're going to fill out after, and you can also fill it out before if you're able to open the form. I'm sorry, you can fill it out during the lesson, during the assessment, if you want to. I didn't do that. I just had a sheet of paper in front of me so that I could make notes on anything that the child missed, so that when I filled out the unit assessment later, or the assessment form, I would know what to mark him off on. So that helped. And this child made very few mistakes, so that was really easy. I've actually heard of some people printing out the assessment form so that you can have it in front of you, so you can be actually checking off each answer as you go. So however you want to do it. I found it pretty easy to just have the notepad in front of me. He did so great. So you are going to be scoring and correcting if there's time. There were some times that, well, I definitely corrected if he got one blatantly wrong, but I also corrected some pronunciation along the way. Not every bit of it, but a lot of it. And also, definitely have a filler activity. So today I had like 12 minutes to fill. Luckily, I was also introducing the final project at the end. So I extended that quite a bit. I had him help me read the instructions and circle things and discuss ideas. And I really dragged out that final assessment, the final project slides at the end. There are 3 slides talking about the 3 different options for their final project, which is due 6 lessons later. So that was a nice filler, but I also needed more. So since we did a lot of discussing of animals in this particular lesson, I just pulled out my animal cards and, my animal note cards. And some of these, I would say, what sound does the goat make, or what color? I held up the dog and the cat one together, and I said, do you have a dog or a cat? No. Do you have any pets at all? No, he didn't have any pets, not even a fish. So we discussed that. We discussed horse, because I find a lot of these kids so far, I've only taught 4 classes, have a little bit of trouble saying the word horse. So we practiced that. We did lion, and a few of these I would ask, does the turtle move fast or slow? Instead of just being like, what is this? And what is this? And what is this? I tried to vary the questions as I went. We talked about bugs and so on. So we went through all of my cards, animal cards, and luckily those things filled up the time and we went right to 25 minutes. So if you are doing a unit assessment where you're actually grading the project along with all the questions and the slides, which I didn't do today, because some assessments you will be grading the final project. Other assessments you're going to be talking about the final project because it's due later at the next assessment. So if you're going to do the assessment, if you're going to be grading the final project, I haven't done that yet, so I don't have experience with it, but just videos I watched before I did the assessment, they said that if they give any effort at all toward the project, you just give them full credit. If they don't do the project, you can give them partial credit if there's time at the end for them to do the project on the last slide, which is a white screen. So they can, if their project was to draw animals and label the body parts, they can do that right there on the screen and they can get partial credit. That's how you would do that. If they show, as far as scoring the questions, you don't want to be too hard on them. Make sure that you know what they're supposed to know by looking at the bottom of the slide and only score them on that. If they were able to meet the objective of the slide, they get the highest score, which at this time of this recording is a 2. If they struggled a little bit and you needed to help them, but then they were able to move through get to the answer, they'll get 1 point. If you absolutely cannot lead them to the answer, then it's 0. But from what I'm hearing, we should do the best we can to at least get them 1 point and hardly ever give a 0. And then you're going to do your feedback at the end. And basically what I said is I was very happy to work with Johnny today on his unit assessment. He was a very hard worker. And then I said something like he can work on his pronunciation, because on one of the slides he had to read several sentences and he got stuck on some of the longer words, which a lot of these kids will, because we're challenging them, right, with big words. So I just said, Johnny can work on his pronunciation as he's reading sentences. And then I added on a few other things that he did right. So I sandwiched my feedback, my constructive criticism feedback with positive things that he did. And there were so many positive things, so that makes sense anyway. And then, if you want, you do want to mention that it was an assessment, so the teacher isn't like, why wasn't she teaching as much as she normally does? Because there is some teaching, but a lot of it is just asking questions. It's an assessment. So you may want to mention that, I enjoyed working with Johnny on his unit assessment today, that kind of thing, so the parent knows. That's about it. So it was easy and fun. I didn't have to do as much prep because there's not as much teaching. There's not as many teacher tips at the bottom of the slides to read. So I actually enjoyed the unit assessment, and I have another one coming up later in the week, and I'm excited about that. And it was fun and easy, and there's a lot of slides, but a lot of the slides are going real quick. So in other words, there were 45 slides today, but some of them were just like, we're going on to level 2. Here's your reward for level 1, and et cetera. It's like real, 2 seconds each slide, some of these, and others you'll take longer, and you'll go through them pretty quickly. And, watch the time. I was watching the time, and I did notice around minute 8, I'm like, whoa, we're almost done. So I slowed it down. I slowed the last level down, because there's, we went through 5 levels in the unit assessment, and I slowed the last one way down. I asked extra questions on the slide. I had him repeat things several times. I extended a little bit. I asked extra questions and things like that. So, the pacing will come, I'm hoping. And of course, you are going to have a kid who just flies through it. Maybe that's what happened with me today, or maybe I went too fast. I'll work that out as I go. It's important to finish, absolutely important to finish the unit assessment. But if you finish early, it really is pretty easy to extend. There's so many different things. I have magnet letters I could have put on my whiteboard, and we could have spelled words. it's so easy to just grab things and talk. Like I could have said, how are you feeling today? Let's talk about your feelings. Does anything make you angry? Does anything make you happy, sad, etc.? I mean, very easy to do. So you can also grab a puppet and I don't know, talk about, because today we talked about a duck having a beak or birds having a beak. Guess who else has a beak? Daisy Duck. Daisy Duck has a beak, and have them say that. Daisy Duck has a beak, that kind of stuff. So I hope that was helpful. If you are someone who is aspiring to become a VIPKID teacher, go ahead and check my description in the description box below. I'll have my referral link that you can use, and then I can help mentor you through the interview process, or you can use my referral code and email VIPKID if you've already started the interview process and you don't have a referral yet. So, and you can also email me if you have any questions. I hope everybody has a great day and good luck on those unit assessments.